There's only 2 jokes that I've found on the internet about lawyers. The rest of them are based on true stories. Good morning, everyone. It has been a very nice 4 days off. Very rarely do I ever get 4 days because I usually work like so much overtime or I'm working some off-duty gig or whatever. So it was nice just to relax, focus on YouTube, focus on the forums, and get shit done. I'm pretty excited about tonight, man. I got a buddy of mine. He works security nearby where I patrol, and we've been talking for a long time, and he's a really good guy, and he said he wanted to do a ride along, so I told him to hop in tonight and show him the ropes. Anybody that's interested in doing law enforcement, I highly recommend you try to do a ride along with your local department. Some departments have policies as far as like not having ride alongs, but I don't hear about that very often. I think most departments are pretty cool with people riding. I had a friend of mine several years ago. He used to ride almost every night that I worked, and he would ride the entire 12-hour shift. Cops and lawyers, holy shit, the story of my life. So what do cops really think about lawyers? Cops and lawyers have a pretty interesting relationship with each other. We're constantly in this like cat and mouse game with each other. We lock people up, they try to get them out of the charge. I would honestly say there's more of a rivalry between cops and lawyers than there will ever be between cops and firefighters or local police and state police. And depending on who you ask, you're going to get different opinions from different cops on what they think about lawyers. I don't take lawyers personally. I know they have a job to do just like I do. In fact, one of the nicest guys I know is a lawyer, and he's helped me out a bunch throughout the past like year and a half. And what's cool about this guy is he's actually a huge supporter of police. And I have never met a bigger KISS fanboy than this guy. Super nice guy though, and he's always taking time out of his day to answer my stupid ass emails with dumbass questions in them. And just like cops, lawyers have things that they specialize in too. A lot of people don't like lawyers, and cops are definitely a part of that group. But let's be honest, cops and lawyers are both professions that are very easy to dislike, but they're still there when you need them. There's defense attorneys that I respect, and there's ones that I despise. And some of these guys rarely have any real defense to whatever the case is even about. Instead, they go after things like the officer's character or their work ethic, and those things are important, but I've seen lawyers nitpick about stupid things that don't pertain to the case whatsoever. And all they're trying to do is discredit the officer to win their case. And these are the kinds of guys that think that like every officer is lying and every charge is some sort of conspiracy, and it's very hard for newer officers to not take lawyers personally. They don't have enough experience yet to understand this is basically just a game of chess in the courtroom. And a lot of the times the new officers will have their experience or lack thereof questioned in court. And I've noticed that lawyers love picking out new officers in court, and you can see them from a mile away, man. I mean, these guys 20, 21, 22 years old, they've never been in a courthouse. They just graduated the police academy, and whatever case they made was while they were still in training. They've never testified in front of people before, and it's pretty nerve-wracking. And it's kind of funny sometimes because you can tell that the lawyers, they can see a new officer. They can spot a new officer from like a mile away, and it's like a hawk spotting an injured mouse. And I think a lot of officers see lawyers as people that are paid 5 times what they are to try to get someone off that's guilty. And a lot of times that can be the case. But if you look at it from a logical standpoint, there are people out there that are being tried as guilty when they're really innocent. There's also officers that get out of hand and they push their boundaries on what legal justification they had to either detain or take someone to jail. So it's kind of like a checks and balances system. We keep each other in check. And I always knew ever since I was a newer officer, like I understood that it was a game, but at the same time, there were times that I took things personally. And the first time I learned to let things go and just to stay level-headed about it, I was in court, and it was a traffic case, but it was pretty significant. I think it was a DUI. I had to wait 3 hours in court before they would hear my case, and that was after working all night. So I was already in a piss-poor mood. So the judge calls me and my arrestee up to the bench, and without hearing any of my side whatsoever, he finds the guy not guilty. So I'm pissed, right? Like, I put a lot of work, a lot of time into this case. I know the guy was drunk, and he just let him off. I was a young officer, and this is kind of what got me in trouble. I went home. I ended up typing a page-long status update on Facebook about this case. It was a huge rant. Not even 15 minutes later, I get a phone call from the judge's assistant. And apparently somebody had turned me in to them. They showed them the post. I told the judge's assistant that I wasn't going to be able to come in that day because she wanted me there immediately. The judge got on the phone and he's like, I need you in my office first thing in the morning. So of course I'm like, oh shit. So I take down the post right away. The next morning I went into the judge's quarters and I'm sitting there in the waiting room. And of course everybody's looking at me because they understand the ass chewing that's impending. So the judge gets there and he calls me into his office and he sits me down. It was a huge office. And the judge asked me, he said, "What's up with the post on Facebook yesterday?" And I told him, I was like, "Judge, I was pissed off with the sentence you gave. You didn't even give me a chance to talk, and you found my guy not guilty." And without any hesitation, the judge looks right at me and he says, "If you have a problem with the sentence that I give out in court, you come see me afterward. You don't embarrass me on social media. This is just a job, and you and I have known each other for a long time. I'm not mad at you, but I'm extremely disappointed. I used to think very highly of you, officer." And like right away, dude, like I'm feeling like an inch tall sitting in this little seat. And it was kind of at that moment that I realized this is just a job for all of us. And, nothing's to be taken personally. It's just business. And I really didn't see it like that before. I was young. I was putting everything on social media. I think when new officers get into this profession, they see themselves as this like badass gunslinger who's like putting people in jail, and some lawyer turned judge is letting him off. And you're mad because you did a lot of work on this case and the person that's guilty isn't being taught a lesson. And I don't remember the exact reason, but the judge ended up explaining to me why he let the guy off. And believe it or not, it actually made sense. And as soon as he told me that, dude, like I shrunk just to a few millimeters. So anyway, I told the judge it wasn't going to happen again. I apologized. I even felt so bad about it, like I emailed him a few days later telling him how sorry I am. And honestly, dude, like that's part of the maturing process as an officer. Court is just a game. It's your job. Don't get butthurt when you don't win your cases. And I think that was what pissed me off the most about that case, is it was the first one I had ever lost. Your job as an officer is to figure out what you did wrong during that case and to fix it in the future cases that you make. That's it. So lawyers, I'm sure you won't hear this from many cops, but I do appreciate what you guys do. We both have a very important job. So if I can give any advice to people that are wanting to become officers, the first thing I would advise you, watch what you put on social media. Social media will get you in trouble faster than anything else besides badge bunnies. I'm a very outspoken person. If I have a problem with you, I will tell you that I have a problem with you. And unfortunately, that has gotten me in more trouble than it has anything. It might feel good at the time to vent, but it's only going to bite you in the ass. Watch what you say, mind your P's and Q's, and be respectful of other people. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, subscribe, and I'll try to answer them below. I'm planning on doing a dual vlog very soon with Bama. I actually called him a little while ago, and he's all excited about it. So you guys are going to get to see Bama again, and we'll do a little video collaboration. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.